perlu berdiskusi lebih lanjut atau melakukan gelar bicara lebih lanjut mengenai pusaka saujana ini. Nah, di sesi ini, pada sesi ketiga ini kita akan berbicara tentang pusaka bersama dalam saujana pusaka yang akan dimoderatori atau dipimpin oleh Ibu Titin Fatimah. Oke. Nah, Ibu Titin. Ibu Titin, apakah sudah masuk? Halo, Ibu Titin. Cek. Oke, nampaknya Ibu Titin belum bisa bergabung dengan kita. Oh ya itu, Ibu Titin sudah masuk itu. Ada suaranya nggak Bu Titin? Apakah kita belum bisa mendengar suara Ibu? Mohon maaf. Oke, baru terlihat wajahnya dari Ibu Titin di Oke. Ibu Titin, silakan Ibu Titin.
Bu Titin masih unmute. Bu Titin mungkin bisa
dinyalakan mic-nya.
Mic-nya masih belum dinyalakan.
Di sini sudah diizin. Oke, sepertinya ada kendala teknis dengan Bu Titin. Oke, sambil menunggu Bu Titin bersiap-siap, mungkin saya sedikit menjelaskan tentang diskusi kali ini. Jadi diskusi kali ini sebetulnya diskusi yang dilakukan oleh pakar-pakar dari Saujana Pusaka Indonesia. Jadi beliau nanti akan menyampaikan pandangannya mengenai Saujana Pusaka di Indonesia. Tak hanya di Indonesia nampaknya, ada juga dari pembicara, ada Ibu Kiyoko Kanki dari Kyoto University, kemudian ada Ibu Ulrike dari ICOMOS Austria yang mungkin bergabung dalam sesi kali ini. Ya, ketinggalan yang tadi sudah mengumumkan lomba artikel nasional, yaitu Ibu Laretna Adishakti atau lebih dikenal dengan Ibu Sita pun akan bergabung di sesi kali ini. Oke, kita coba kembali untuk masuk ke Ibu Titin. Ibu Titin. Oke, nampaknya masih ada terkendala dengan audio di Ibu Titin.
Ibu Uli juga belum ada ya. Ibu Kanki sudah ada itu.
Oke. Ibu Kanki. Oke, saya coba untuk Ibu Ulrike sepertinya belum masuk.
Ibu Kanki juga minta di unmute. Ibu Kanki masih unmute.
Ibu Kanki, mohon maaf, namanya apa ya Bu di sini Ibu?
Ibu Kiyoko Kanki. Itu yang ada tulisan Jepangnya.
Om di
Halo.
Oke, cek.
Alhamdulillah Mbak Titin.
Terima kasih.
Bisa masuk ya?
Mbak Titin sudah masuk.
Suaranya,
okay.
Alhamdulillah. Dari tadi kesulitan sekali untuk bisa masuk voice-nya. Oke, selamat siang semuanya Bapak Ibu dan sahabat Pusaka Indonesia. Ya, kita sudah dari jam 9 ya masuk untuk acara ini. Sudah banyak mata acara sudah kita lalui bersama dan luar biasa sekali animo dari para sahabat pusaka dari berbagai daerah ya. bergabung bersama kita dengan diskusi-diskusi yang menarik dan juga video, musik, puisi dan lain sebagainya. Baik, menyambung sesi yang tadi, yang sebelum ini ada peluncuran direktori Sarjana Pusaka, ya, dan juga pengumuman artikel. Nah, kita akan masuk pada sesi bincang pusaka, ya, sesi talk show yang ketiga dengan judul Shared Heritage and Cultural Landscape, ya. Jadi pusaka bersama dalam pusaka sarjana, ya. Nanti kita akan berbincang-bincang selama 1 jam ke depan, ya. Dan di sini saya akan ditemani oleh 3 tamu yang luar biasa, ya. Saya akan coba cek satu persatu. Saya coba akan panggilkan Ibu Sita.
Yes,
Halo Ibu Sita, sudah hadir ya? Oke. Ibu Kanki, Profesor Kanki from Kyoto University. Are you there? Halo.
Halo.
Konnichiwa.
Konnichiwa.
Hisashi desu. Genki desu ka?
Yes, I'm fine, very fine, thank you.
Okay, thank you very much for joining us today. Yeah. And for the speaker 3, the third speaker, Uli from ICOMOS Austria. Hello, Uli.
Yes, not. I think she's not here.
Oh,
okay. So while we are waiting for Uli, first of all, before I start the discussion, I would like to introduce the short profile of our speaker. Ya, sebelum kita bincang-bincang lebih lanjut, saya akan perkenalkan sedikit ya profil pembicara kita pada siang hari ini. Ya, tak kenal maka tak sayang katanya begitu ya. Jadi kita akan coba perkenalkan satu persatu. Pembicara pertama, the first speaker, Ibu Laretna Adishakti, atau biasa kita kenal dengan sebutan Ibu Sita, ya, nama panggungnya begitu. Beliau adalah dosen dan juga peneliti di jurusan arsitektur dan perencanaan Universitas Gadjah Mada, from Gadjah Mada University, dan beliau adalah ketua dari Center for Heritage Conservation, ya, kita kenal dengan CHC. Kemudian beliau tidak hanya sekedar dosen, tapi juga pecinta heritage, praktisi juga, pelukis, dan juga pelaku ikebana, rangkai bunga begitu ya Ibu ya. Beliau punya galeri batik Jawa sebagai salah satu wujud kecintaan beliau terhadap batik ya. Ibu Sita lulus S3-nya dari Kyoto University. Halo, kemudian masternya dari University of Wisconsin.
We are waiting.
Gimana?
Yeah, we are waiting for you.
Oh, Uli.
Okay.
Sudah? Belum?
I'm calling Uli now.
Oh, oke. Okay. So, for Uli.
Oke.
Ya. Dan Ibu Sita saat ini cukup aktif di berbagai kegiatan pelestarian di Indonesia. Ya, salah satunya beliau menjabat sebagai ketua 2 Badan Pelestarian, Dewan Pimpinan Badan Pelestarian Pusaka Indonesia. Ya. Terima kasih banyak Ibu Sita sudah berkenan bergabung di sesi ketiga kali ini. Nanti kita akan sharing lebih banyak lagi ya Bu ya. Oke, baik. And then the next speaker, ya, we will greet Professor Kiyoko Kanki. Yeah, good afternoon, Professor Kanki. So I would like to introduce the short profile of Ibu Kanki. Yeah, she is a professor at the Laboratory of Housing and Environmental Design, Department of Architecture, Kyoto University. Waduh, ini sama-sama dari Kyoto ini. And then she is also the chairperson of Rural Planning of Architectural Institute of Japan. And in long time in Indonesia, she has been collaborating with some university like UGM and then also BPPI, Rujak, for international field school in Borobudur and Mohiri, Bali, and Jakarta related to Saujana heritage. And Ibu Kanki, also co-editor of editor with Ibu Sita and me also. We published the book of Borobudur as Cultural Landscape, Local Communities Initiative for the Evolutive Conservation of Pusaka Saujana Borobudur. It's published in 2015, yeah, with the publisher of Kyoto University Press, Japan, and Trans-Pacific Australia. Okay, maybe it is the short profile of Ibu Kanki as the second speaker. And then Uli, hello.
Hello.
Are you there, Uli?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, thank you very much for coming and joining us today. Yeah,
My pleasure,
so
Sally. Thank you for the invitation.
halo, gimana?
So,
Oke, sudah bisa ya, sudah nampak beliau, videonya juga sudah nampak. Berikutnya saya akan coba sedikit perkenalkan profil beliau. So, Uli is a Vice President of ICOMOS Austria, yeah, International Council for Monuments and Sites. She is a faculty member of Faculty of Architecture and Planning, TU Wien, yeah. And also she has been collaborating some works with several universities in Indonesia to make some measurement and conservation on some historical buildings such as Museum Afandi, yeah, and then also the conservation program for Kampung Nias, and also the digital measurement of some temples in Gadjah and Central Java province. Okay, thank you, Uli, for joining us.
my pleasure.
So we will start the discussion today. Yeah, we have topic shared heritage in cultural landscape. So before we have more discussion further, and then I would like to have the first question about the shared heritage. Yeah. Okay, Uli.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe I would like to hear from you the opinion about the shared heritage. As we know, this year, ICOMOS International having the theme for the Heritage Day, shared culture, shared heritage, and shared responsibility. Okay, so maybe you have an opinion about what is shared heritage, and maybe you can have some other opinion about it. Okay, please.
Yeah, first of all, thank you very much for the invitation. It's a great pleasure and honor, and also a great initiative to have this event on the International Day of Monuments and Sites. Yeah, for the shared heritage, I think it is a very important topic, because I think all heritage is a shared heritage, and all people should be aware that we have to take care about the heritage all together. If we don't share the responsibility, there won't be a big future ahead of cultural heritage. And as we see, especially in landscapes, if you don't include all the people that are living there, or using heritage sites, or also visiting the heritage sites, if not all those people who are sharing this cultural heritage as a visitor or as a person living there, then it is very hard to maintain it for the future. So everybody should be really aware about its value, and also about how to take care about it, not only for the maintenance, but also for all the more non-tangible parts that are there for a heritage site. It is not only about a temple or about a building, but all the things that made it to be there as it looks today, and also what it will be as a precious item for the cultural identity of all the people who are around it and who are visiting it. So this is kind of my main credo for the shared heritage. And this is something I think we should be aware about all the time when talking about this.
Yeah, thank you very much, Uli, for your opinion about the shared heritage. And I would like also to know the opinion about the shared heritage from Ibu Kanki, Professor Kanki.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, we would like to hear about your opinion also about the shared heritage.
Okay. Thank you very much for inviting me here. Actually, in this March, I tried to visit Indonesia, but it was not possible. So
we miss you.
yes, I miss you. And it is very good for me to speak with you in this opportunity. Very, very thankful. All the participants, I thank you all. Thank you very much. And here, I like to speak about one point. I am the collaborator with Ibu Sita and Ibu Titin and some colleagues, but at the same time, I'm also fighting for the conservation of my own country's Southern heritage so long time, and how to make such a heritage to be more shared situation. I like to integrate the national or prefectural system of the industry, more like to make a kind of the conservation-oriented market, especially about agriculture or forestry or fishery. Always we are trying to make a conservation, utilizing such a power with local people especially. But actually, such an industry is also the very global system. So it is very difficult to make a conservation-oriented industry to utilize the normal types of the national tools. And sometimes we are fighting for the national system at the same time. And but you know, in this situation, we are staying in my own towns and countryside. It is very important to know and to collaborate with the local people, local industry, to get more sustainable situation. And but this is very weak situation at the same time, because we had a very rapid changing in market during such touristic development days, recent days. And so it is necessary to integrate again about the several industry to local oriented or conservation oriented system to make fewer lives more sustainable. And but the situation is not enough. And I know that maybe Indonesia is one of the top countries to be more and more global and to more and more developed. And maybe the very important sector of the industry is global oriented. But we also necessary to keep globally estimated, but local system of the industry to collaborate with the conservation. And actually, this is very difficult every time, but how to do? I like to share the experiences with you. Always, I very thanks you because I have so many good learnings from your activities from Indonesian people, especially through the field school style. And so it is very good opportunity to declare Indonesian conservation is more integrated with the many kinds of sectors and coexist with the global and sometimes more strong against the global oriented market. Thanks you. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much, Kanki Sensei, for your opinion and also sharing about the condition in Japan. Yeah, I know that it's a difficult condition in Japan because sometimes the government is so strict. Yeah.
Yes, thank you.
So I saw you that you always fight with the local community.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
I would like also to ask Ibu Sita as the viewpoint of the Indonesian heritagers, heritage activists. So Ibu Sita, silahkan Ibu bagaimana pendapatnya tentang share heritage pusaka bersama ini di Indonesia mungkin ya.
Yeah. Before I mention about Indonesia, terima kasih Kanki-san, Uli, you are all, we work together. So we always share together. Since with Kanki since 90s, when we were students, and with Uli since 2005, and we had a collaboration. So actually what we have done is long time, and this is what we need, that we have to work together. We cannot solve the issue of heritage alone. Heritage is not something exclusive, but heritage should be shared. We, student and teacher, we share together. We, student and students, teacher and teachers, and then activists, workers. We have to work together. And share is not about sharing among countries, but sharing it can be done for Indonesia especially, that we have Bhinneka Tunggal Ika. We're supposed to have to share our own cultures, our own heritage. My heritage, your heritage, and everybody's heritage, different city, different village, different districts, and different province. So some things that we're supposed to work together, because this is natural about the conservation. And once again, about the culture landscapes, the Saujan, something that's very comprehensive. We have to talk about the cultural heritage. In the same time, we are talking about the natural heritage. And among this, there will be a lot of intangible heritage that sometimes we ignore when we talk about the tangible one. We are not talking about the community. And the community is actually the main actors of this. And this morning, we heard from our colleagues, from Sishan, from Pak Eka, from Karin, from Yori, everybody mentioning the importance of working with people. And this is something that we also working with the people. We are learning to work with the people. Learning with the people is something that in the school we have to really work when we are talking about the shared heritage. And we are planning, and we have done also some field schools. There is some kind of methods how we can work together among countries, among students and teachers, and the communities. And actually with Kanki Sensei and Uli, we would like also to organize Imogiri field schools in the coming August, but it seems that we have to wait for this, this condition, this pandemic. That's some issues that I'd like to share to you all.
Yeah, thank you, Ibu Sita, for your sharing an opinion about the shared heritage. And yeah, you already, the three of you already have a very good collaboration actually. Yeah, some activities together started in Borobudur, maybe if we recall. We have Borobudur International Field School since 2004, I think. Yeah. And in Imogiri and Bali, yeah, it's some kind of good collaboration with many participants, yeah, from Indonesia and also from abroad, yeah. So Ibu Sita mentioned also when we do some activities together, we can learn from people, yeah. Sometimes during the field school also, we invite the local people to share about what are they thinking, and then what they want, what's the local value, and etc. So we also can learn from them, from the local people. So it is a good collaboration for the academician and also for the local people. Okay, so especially for the cultural landscape, or we call Saujana, there are so many aspects because it is very integrated, yeah, from natural and also cultural and also with the community. So what do you think, how to realize the conservation, the ideal conservation for the shared heritage on cultural landscape? Yeah, maybe first Uli can share the idea about how to realize the ideal shared heritage conservation on
Uli, anunya mic-nya masih mati ya?
Oh, halo, Iren mungkin bisa di unmute. Or maybe first Ibu Kanki, Professor Kanki, maybe you can share.
Oh, mati lagi.
Oh, it can.
Now okay, it's working again. Okay, thank you.
Really? Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I just want to mention, I think it's very nice that we see here these shared heritage ideas, especially with Ibu Sita's background, as it is a World Heritage Landscape site in Austria, Spitz in Dachau, which I find really, really nice to see here in this frame. And I can give an example of how we try to deal with this topic in Dachau, especially because it's a landscape World Heritage site. It has 33 villages, and all the villages have their certain topics or issues or problems they have to deal with. So what we try to do now is to offer as ICOMOS Austria a kind of support to meet with the people who are living there on expert level. So we are the experts in the frame of heritage conservation and in the frame of World Heritage topics. But people living there, of course, are the experts of their heritage. They know about the customs, they know about the history, they know about how to deal with the landscape there, and it has a very particular landscape. Perhaps on this picture you don't see it so directly, but you have the vineyards, and these vineyards have dry stone walls, and they have to be maintained very, very carefully, otherwise the whole idea is collapsing. So to discuss about this, to maintain, for example, these dry stone walls, even if the vineyard is not very economic, valuable anymore, but it is a very important part of the landscape, is a very important topic. So we are trying to discuss with people who are living in the sites, and also especially with the mayors, who are again the opinion leaders in these regions, about what their opinion is, what is the most important or what are the most important attributes for the outstanding universal value of their cultural heritage site. And this is something with these attributes and attribute mapping that is coming up now. And I think this is something very easy, if you come behind it, easy to understand, to find out what are the most important things if I think about my heritage site, my heritage surrounding. And then if you are aware about this, if you're discussing it with the communities and with the mayors, then it's more easy that people think about more how to protect it. And it makes it more easy to get these measures going, than to come as an expert and say, you should do this and that. So I think this is kind of the same way that you already started with the field schools, but here we had to facilitate it in this national committee and mayor framework, but it's starting to really work very well. And the mayors, what they also say, what they always need is kind of a manual, a booklet of how to build properly a World Heritage Site, because they say it's very good to say we should do this, but we are not experts in architecture. We don't know what an proper architecture looks, or what are the main facts that make something harmonizing with the landscape as is, and what is now a disturbing fact. So this is something also we are trying to develop in collaboration with the communities and also with the mayors. So as an example from a cultural landscape site in Austria. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Uli. So the ICOMOS Austria tried to be a facilitator, yeah, between the mayor and also the local people, how to make a collaboration between them.
Facilitator, so just to be a part of this, yeah. So again, to be a part of a shared community that is working together on this. So not to be on top and then facilitate something, but really to show that we are part of the whole community that is working on that. So even if we are not the community that is working there, but here it is, we are part of their cultural heritage community as one of the stones that are important to maintain the landscape as is.
Yeah, so it's a part of all the part in the Australia.
Yeah.
Okay, so I mentioned also about the some effort of the mayor that they try to make some like a booklet, yes, some information for documentation and also some guidance, so the local people can do properly for the conservation. Yeah. Okay, so I would like also to hear the opinion from Ibu Kanki from the Japan side, maybe how the strategy to realize the concept of shared heritage cultural landscape conservation.
Yeah, thank you very much. Basically, I'm a planner actually, and at the same time researcher, but in the cultural landscape realization and conservation realization, I am always working for some kind of establishing the new planning. So in such a way, it is very important have two kinds of activity from me. One is with the local administration, and the planning sometimes can be a little bit changed to be more inclusive for the many kinds of the activities in the local scales. And if we little bit successful, it can be authorized. But in many cases, there's almost no budget, but authorization we can get. And if we can have some kind of the inclusiveness about the local people's activities inside the official planning, the second thing is very important, to start something from inside of the community to become the kind of the leading examples for such officialized planning. And for an example, to collaborate with the agricultural sector or forestry sector or fishery sector is very, very important for me. And usually they are not so collaborate with the Ministry of Culture. They are working with the Ministry of Agriculture, basically. And the farmers likes to make new things by themselves. And sometimes, of course, they know very well about the local situation, the traditional things. And if they can have a new established way of the new farming system, it is very good for them. So to think about the sustainable way of the farming is very, very good for the local farmers, at the same time local authority. And if possible, it is authorized by the planning. So making such a linkage between the planning and the real activities and the first examples from the inside of the community is sometimes a good tools for me. And nowadays, there are so many younger generations in Japan too, in the cultural landscape area, to start the new types of the industry to utilize the very good traditional history and the traditional way of the industry inside the local system. And sometimes they are very good situation in case of the economic activities too. So, but sometimes very difficult to start new things. But sometimes it is good. And for example, I used to be the member of the nomination of the Key Mountain Range in Wakayama Prefecture. And we almost 20 years after the nomination. And nowadays, there are so many younger generation, new people to start new things, to collaborate with the conservation activities, but at the same time to establish a new industry. And but they struggled so many times until now to make a good linkage with the planning and their own activities. So if somebody can participate in activities as a planner to have a kind of the linkage to the officialized planning, it is very important, I think.
Okay, thank you very much, Kanki Sensei, for the sharing how to realize the ideal conservation efforts in Japan, especially for the cultural landscape. Yeah, as we know, in Japan, especially in local community, they are strong to start from inside from the community. Yeah, sometimes there are many problems also, but I see that there are some initiative from the local people to conserve their cultural landscape, and also you as the academician and also planner also, yeah, help them, especially for the nomination for Key Mountain Range become the World Heritage Site. Yeah, I saw the process. Okay, so the next one, I would like to hear from Ibu Sita how the strategy to realize the ideal conservation for saujana in Indonesia. Monggo, Ibu Sita.
Yes, saujana is actually something new for, I mean, the planning practice in Indonesia, as well as for the architects and also other fields of disciplines. And learning from Uli and also Kanki, and that is actually what my personal experience, also learning from their fightings, yes. To their fightings on how to conserve and then how to promote to the people as well as the decision makers. And usually, meeting with the decision maker is actually something that's very, very difficult. When you have the new leaders, and then you have to start from the beginning. And also, I would like to talk in Indonesian language to really explain more in detail about what is in Wakao Valley as well as in Japan. Mungkin saya akan bahasa Indonesia untuk tadi yang disampaikan oleh Mbak Uli tentang Wakao Valley. Itu sebuah World Cultural Landscape, panjangnya sampai 40 km, yang di sana ada sekitar 9 kota. Nah, itu 9 kota itu bagaimana mengurus bersama-sama ke 9 kota itu. Nah, ini kan juga sesuatu hal yang sebenarnya sangat luar biasa. Kita banyak berlatih juga dari bagaimana satu dan lainnya itu bisa share antar satu kota dan kota yang lain. Demikian juga ketika Bu Kanki tadi cerita terkait dengan key mountains, itu menjadi cultural landscape, World Cultural Landscape yang ditetapkan oleh UNESCO. Beliau waktu-waktu itu juga membuat caranya promosi, bagaimana mempromosikan supaya masyarakat juga tahu bahwa itu adalah penting sekali untuk melestarikan. Dan Key Mountain itu masuk di dalam 3 provinsi, ya. Jadi ada provinsi. Jadi dalam provinsi itu harus bisa bekerja sama. Nah, ini share seperti ini sebenarnya sulit sekali kita lakukan di Indonesia. Sementara misalnya di Borobudur itu sebenarnya aset yang ada di Borobudur itu tidak hanya yang ada di Kabupaten Magelang, tetapi dia ada share juga nanti sampai ke Dieng, share sampai ke apa itu, yang candi apa namanya, yang lainnya itu jadi satu jalur. Nah, Key Mountain itu adalah pilgrimage, jadi jalan para orang berjalan kaki peziarah. Nah, pada waktu bersama BPPI kita ke Dieng, kita ditunjukkan ada jalan ziarah Dieng ke Borobudur. Nah, ini kan sampai sekarang tidak pernah kita bicarakan ini, share. Sementara di Dieng sendiri share antar kabupaten juga persoalan yang sangat besar. Ya, jadi tadi Ibu Kanki juga menyampaikan bagaimana beliau selalu membuat new planning kalau bisa bekerja di antar local governments yang bisa memasukkan gagasan-gagasan dari masyarakat. Nah, Saujana Pusaka itu kuncinya kembali lagi sebenarnya di sinilah share culture, share heritage, dan share responsibility. Responsibility from 9 cities in Wakao Valley and many other organizations as well as Key Mountains. They have so many also local governments under 3 provinces. So this is issue that we have to learn and how we can to work together with so many people. Ya, begitu Mbak Titin.
Oke, baik. Terima kasih banyak Bu Sita untuk sharingnya. Memang betul ya, tidak mungkin kita melakukan pelestarian itu sendiri-sendiri. Semua harus terkoneksi, terintegrasi, dan melibatkan banyak pihak ya. Karena yang namanya Saujana itu kan sangat luas ya. Ya, kita bayangkan misalnya saja Dieng misalnya ya. Dieng itu dalam satu kawasan yang sangat luas. Dalam segi pemerintahan saja itu tidak hanya 1 kabupaten, ada 2 kabupaten ya, Wonosobo dengan Banjarnegara kalau tidak salah ya. Sehingga dari sisi pemerintahan saja sudah perlu koordinasi, perlu integrasi dari 2 pemerintah daerah. Belum lagi dengan pihak-pihak lain, dengan pihak masyarakat ya, petani, pelaku ya, pelaku budaya, pelaku wisata dan lain sebagainya, termasuk dengan para budayawan. Nah, sehingga memang kolaborasi shared heritage dengan banyak pihak ini menjadi hal yang sangat krusial, sangat penting untuk mewujudkan upaya-upaya pelestarian yang lebih komprehensif. Begitu mungkin ya Bu Sita ya.
Yes.
Baik. Oke, saya lanjutkan. Ini kebetulan di chat ada pertanyaan ya. Pertanyaan yang ditujukan kepada Ibu Sita ya, ini dari Dian Butler. Terima kasih Ibu Sita, arigatou gozaimasu, Kiyoko and Jangsun Uli ya. Izinkan saya tanya kepada Ibu Sita, jika belajar di rumah masih lama, apakah ada cara kita bisa kerjasama, misalnya buat kegiatan daring dengan anak muda tentang ide Dharma Nature Time Institute, yakni rumah sebagai panggung hidup. Nah, mungkin Bu Sita bisa langsung saja menanggapi pertanyaan tadi, silakan.
Baik, terima kasih Bu Diana, sudah lama tidak ketemu ya, long time no see. Bu Diana is from Bali. Ya, masih di Bali ya Bu ya? Masih ya, oke. I think we can work together. Kita bisa mulai juga melakukan kerjasama. Dalam hal ini saya juga bersama mahasiswa saya yang anak-anak muda. I'm now working also with my students in the very short semester that they have to learn about the heritage cities, conservations. Dan ini mungkin juga satu hal yang malah justru penting sekali, gitu, bagaimana bahwa kita harus memulai dari rumah. Mulai dari rumah itu banyak sekali yang bisa kita pelajari, and we can learn so many things from the internet, as well as so many informations. Yeah, why not? I think I'm preparing also actually some modules for the open universities, in this case on heritage conservation. Bisa kita bicarakan. Ya, Mbak Titin.
Ya, baik, terima kasih. Kemudian ada lagi selanjutnya ini dari Saudara Rofi, ya, regulasi apa yang akan pemerintah dan UNESCO lakukan setelah Sarjana Budaya Indonesia ditetapkan sebagai World Heritage, dan bagaimana pelestariannya? Apakah berbasis masyarakat dari lembaga adat atau ada kolaborasi? Ketika di lapangan langsung, pas salah satu sarjana budaya Indonesia malah mungkin tergerus jadi lahan parkir sedikit demi sedikit. Apakah ada kontrol promosi? Begitu, ya. Silahkan mungkin langsung Bu Sita menanggapi.
Ya, seperti yang tadi saya sampaikan, as I mentioned before, regarding the regulations in Indonesia, even we are not touching yet on the issue of the cultural landscape. Ini kita belum sampai ke arah sana. Nah, yang bisa kita lakukan kembali lagi, bagaimana kita misalnya melalui pedesaan, Kemendes misalnya, jadi program-program yang nanti memang di-create ke arah sana. Karena aturan kita, ya ini mohon maaf saja, peraturan yang kita miliki sekarang ini baru sebatas pada cagar budaya. Dan itu is a tangible heritage. So our heritage law is focusing mainly on the cultural heritage and tangible. This is tangible heritage. And we have actually the intangible heritage in the different law. And we don't have the ones that related between the natural heritage and cultural heritage, both tangible and intangible. So this is even make it more difficult. However, we can start from even from the environmental law. And we have to think also from us right now, all the world, we have to reach in 2030 about the SDGs, Sustainable Development Goals. So this issue of cultural landscape should also focus on that. So we have to combine so many regulations, as we don't have still those regulations. I learned from the cultural property law, maybe Kanki Sensei can mention about the cultural property law. Itu setiap 5 tahun sekali, itu selalu ada perubahan, ada pengembangan. Dan di sana cultural property law itu sudah termasuk juga underwater, manusianya, the heritage people, itu juga mendapat support. Ya, jadi kita memang harus banyak belajar. Dan ini kelemahan di dalam heritage law kita memang harus kita kejar untuk itu. Itu yang baru bisa saya jawab. Sebenarnya kita persoalannya sama, saya juga masih bertanya untuk itu.
Baik, terima kasih Bu Sita. Mungkin sedikit saya akan jelaskan dalam bahasa Inggris yang pertanyaan sekelas tadi, biar mungkin nanti bisa dijawab oleh mungkin Kanki Sensei atau yang lain, karena mungkin bisa jadi mungkin di Jepang mengalami hal yang sama begitu ya. Jadi nanti biar bisa sharing. Okay, so the last question is about what is the regulation from government and UNESCO after the nomination of World Heritage Site, yeah, because usually after the nomination of the World Heritage Site, and then the site become famous, many tourists come, and then the land sometimes and then converted into some other function like for parking area, other tourism facilities, and etc. It is the context of Suba in Bali. Yeah, after the nomination of the World Heritage, there are some sites that actually it was a very beautiful rice farm, but and then become some restaurant, cafe, parking lot, yeah, etc. So what do you think about it? Maybe Ibu Kanki, you can share about what's happened in Japan about problem like this.
Yes. How to manage the after the nomination of the World Heritage Site? It's very, very problematic, you know. And maybe it is also related to the regulation program, I think. You know, the regulation system by the law or the national law is not perfect always. For example, our law of the cultural property is just save only a few aspects of the property. And for example, we need collaboration with the agricultural law, the fishery law, or so many types of law, but that is not perfect. And the same, so regulation isn't very necessary, but we must understand, or we must promote the idea the heritage itself is more diverse and the more large things, and the regulation is only the part. But sometimes a regulation manager from the national ministry or local ministry don't care about the outside of the regulation. So it is very problematic. And the recently in Japan, you know, the ministry, National Ministry of Cultural Affairs likes to promote the touristic activities. You know, so big budget from the national government was used to promotion of the touristic activities. I always fight against that tendency because we need more budget to support the people in the local community or local industry, but it is not enough until now. So I myself likes to show the system of the conservation of the Southern heritage is very large area, including many kinds of the field and the ideas or the plannings and activities, many things. And what kind of the regulation can help this part? What kind of the regulation cannot support this part, or such a things is very important in this in the reality. That maybe this is the way of the planners. I think this is a kind of the task of the planners. So the situation is something like that, very complicated. So finally, now I like to promote more special types of the district planning. And a kind of the district planning can integrate so many things into the local situation. But it is our next activities. Until now, we are not realized such examples, but it is very important. And maybe from the planner side, we must think about the world of the planning is more like integrated types, more not control types. So some districts have their own way of making the regulation or the support system or activity system. And maybe such a kind of the district-oriented plannings can be integrated in a large area. And this is more like a community activity oriented things. Ne? So
Yeah.
but we have no system for such integrated types of the planning until now. So it's a very big problem. But I like to do something as an academic person at the same time. Thank you very much. But always the regulation is only the part actually. It is a very important thing.
Yeah, thank you very much, Kanki Sensei, for your sharing. Yeah. So actually, regulation is not enough. Yeah. We need more effort from the participation of local community also. Yeah. Okay. So maybe Uli, do you have any other opinion maybe about this?
Yeah, because it's, as we have, so perhaps some of you are aware that we have in the moment one of our World Heritage Sites on the list of endangered sites. So with the historic city center of Vienna, which is quite shameful, I want to say, but it is because of this topic of misregulation. So many people think perhaps it is because of this one project that is planned in the moment, but this was kind of the part of the bigger problem, that there was not a management plan in place and no regulations for even providing the possibility or the framework to save the property as it was described with its outstanding universal value. And I think this is something very critical, and so that's also why we are in all other heritage sites or World Heritage Sites in Austria have a better position in the moment, because people are more aware about this, that the different disciplines, and here especially, as Ibu Kanki also said, that those people who are dealing with law have to work together. Not the planners are very important, architects are important, nature conservationists are very important, but especially people dealing with law and regulations are very important, because in the World Heritage Site I'm the monitor of in Neusiedlersee, we have the problem that there are old regulations of permissions for for building on plots of lands. And of course, everybody tries to do most of it. When you have a land, then you want to fill it up with the biggest thing possible. But it is really against of, not only good, good things, but also against all World Heritage issues. So it is something that you have to deal with beforehand already, to discuss with the people, okay, if you want to have a World Heritage Site, you will have restrictions here, even if the regulations in the moment say that you can build on a plot of 500 square meter, 300 square meter and 5 stories. It will not be possible if it's a World Heritage Site. And this is something we missed so far. And in many cases, people are not aware about this. So this is again something we have to share, and we have to include all the different levels, all different players in this, not only the authorities, but also the people who have these plots of land. They have to understand why it is important not to build a lot of things, but to also value that they have a plot of land in a very outstanding place. So it is more valuable if they building less things there than destroying it with something that is against this outstanding universal value. And I think this is something very important and critical for the people again. And then with what I wanted to stress also with the law experts, that more people in this direction have to be involved in this whole maintaining the conservation issues, because often you say in the regulations you can't do anything, but if you have really people who know about the law and all the parts that know that are included in there, then they find ways of how to change the regulations and offer this to the authorities who are in the end implementing regulations. And I think that's very important, because otherwise we will stuck in the same position forever, and this is something we should not have on the long run. I hope so.
Yeah.
So,
thank you very much, Uli, for your sharing and opinion. I read here there are many questions coming. I'm not sure we can discuss it with the around maybe just 10 minutes remind. Okay, so maybe I would like to proceed to the next question. It is a question from Pak Heri. Yeah, Pak Heri said that based on my experience in making several heritage conservation planning, the most important, besides the coordination barrier, we have another big problem in defining the limit. So heritage delineation consideration for the beginning. So are there any basic parts in defining the heritage delineation? None of the regulations stated or nor the UNESCO. So it is about the delineation for the heritage itself. Okay, maybe Ibu Sita?
Yeah, maybe we can learn from the case of Borobudur. That is what Mbak Titin, Bu Dwita, Kanki Sensei also learning about the Borobudur. From us, Borobudur is not just a temple, not just the boundary with the fence that we are not allowed, we have to pay to go there. But Borobudur is also include the remainings of the ancient lake that Pak Ami Luhur, Pak Helmi are working for those the dissertation of the cultural landscapes of those. And there are so many villages. Di sini tadi saya lihat ada Mas Hatta. There is Mas Hatta, also one of the person that working there, and he knows a lot about the importance of the what we can say as the outstanding of Borobudur. That's not just about the temple, but also the surrounding area. Now the previously there is also what is called the Kawasan Strategi Nasional, if I'm not mistaken the name. This is something that making the delineation is even bigger. But now how to make the operational of this? This once again, we need shared responsibility. This is something that's very difficult to work together with something that even larger area. So this is the case that, yeah, Pak Heri maybe still difficult to. Apa tadi yang di mana? Dieng, that Titin mentions about how to manage in between only 2 regions. But if there are many regions, like cities, like Wako Valley, it's 9 cities, and Key Mountains is 3 provinces. So those are the difficulties of working on this. Yeah, we have to I think we cannot coming with one short solutions, but yes, once again, we have to work on those issues. But what the important thing is, what we need is leadership. From my experience, once we have the leaders is good, then everything will be without any regulations. But if the leaders have a good leaderships, everybody will become good. But how to develop the leaderships of the leaders? We have discussion with UNESCO Bangkok in this thing, and then with others colleagues from different university in Asia. We are talking, and then leaders, actually our target number 4 or level 4 to be taught, and this is very difficult because the leaders are mayor, region, it can be also minister, and it can be presidents. So let's create and develop to make a good leader who has the heritage sensitivity.
Ya, ini tantangan kita ya, Bu ya, untuk bisa menghasilkan pemimpin-pemimpin yang paham ya, yang punya wawasan heritage juga gitu, sehingga bikin kebijakan juga yang memang bisa mengena dengan apa yang dibutuhkan dalam upaya-upaya pelestarian kita, begitu ya. Baik, waktunya tidak panjang, tapi ada banyak pertanyaan yang masuk. So, okay, maybe I would like to ask Kanki Sensei related to the last question about the boundary, about the delineation.
Yeah. Yeah, there is so many types of the boundaries. And but you know, there's so many kinds of the program. For example, sometimes after the good leadership, we have some kind of the program of the loss of the leadership. And sometimes I have such experience at the same time. So actually, the heritage site having a very long history, and they also have a contemporary history at the same time. So sometimes we have the good times and sometimes bad times, actually. And in my opinion, as a kind of the academic person, at the same time a planner, I like to support most important person in the heritage site. Sometimes it's a person from the community, and sometimes it's a person from the little bit minority community, or new people or older people, and the final expert about agriculture or many cases. And how to find the most important person inside heritage conservation is always the important matter with me. And the academic person can have some kind of activity by myself to support such an important person, because I am a researcher, so I can do the researching something. And so sometimes it is my strategy to meet the important person and to speak with them, and possibly in the group. And sometimes somebody will find new things from such dialogues. And usually in bad times, authority cannot have such an opportunity. But I'm a little bit a fighting person, but at the same time, I must think about how to solve the situation, and having a more like a personal dialogue with the very important persons is one of the strategies. And I think this is one of the core function of the field school activities. I learned many things in Borobudur, how we can find important persons in the heritage site in many types of the activities. And so I like to import the field school activity from Borobudur into my heritage site in Japan. And actually, this is the how to say it. This is the original types of the activities invented in Indonesia, I think, especially in BPPI. So we can estimate what is the field school more and more, I think. And so sometimes we had good times and sometimes bad times, and that is a history. And actually, so always we can find some people and to support a little bit. It is the basic things for me, actually. It's
Yeah,
not
thank you very much,
perfect
Kanki Sensei, for the sharing.
Thank you very much.
So engage with people is the key, yeah, to know them, yeah. And then, okay, maybe Uli, are you there?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, I would like to hear from you for the last question about the boundary or
On the
the
boundaries,
delineation about for heritage.
Yeah, I think again in cultural landscapes is sometimes a bit complicated to define, or it is complicated to define, because as I mentioned, these cultural landscapes, Neusiedler See, it's a very flat country, and they said the boundary, the visual impact boundary is a dam built for a railway. But this railway dam is like 0.5 meter, and the biggest height difference in this area of a lot of square kilometers are 5 meters. So a visual impact boundary of a 50 centimeter dam is just more laughable than reality. So what we are trying to do there again is work with people and ask them about their boundaries, what they think are the boundaries from this area. So not only the boundary of the World Heritage Site, but their mind boundaries, which is quite interesting because it's a transnational site, Austria and Hungary, and it's differing from what people see on one side of the border than on the other side. But still, I think always it is very important to have a critical mass of people who are always aware about the importance, because I think leadership is very important, but on the other hand, leaders can be occupied from one time to the other with completely different other things. So in the moment, if you have politicians who were very engaged in cultural heritage topics, they will have other issues to deal with in the moment. So, and if there is something happening in one or the other heritage site, then perhaps this will be the least of the things that they will take care about in the moment, in the current situation. So I think it is very important to have this critical mass around and in a cultural heritage site, so that the people are all the time aware about its importance. And if something is happening, that they are acting by themselves as this aware mass of people who really want to have this maintained for the future, so that they are aware about, okay, there is development going on, development has to go on, but what is the value of our cultural heritage? What do we need as a collective memory? And what are we really taking care about? And then it is less likely that even if in a situation like this in the moment, the cultural heritage is forgotten because of other issues. And I think that's a very important thing. And things like the Borobudur field schools or field schools, where you bring people from foreign countries, from very different cultural backgrounds together into a place where you talk with people, with inhabitants, with opinion leaders. I think that's a very important thing, even if you don't tell people what to do, but just to show that there are so many people really interested in this cultural heritage there. That raises the awareness about the importance. So if the tourists are coming, is a very different topic, but people who are really talking then with the people who are living there and taking care about the things and telling them how important it is, or just asking about how they are doing it, that raises the awareness. And this is also something that empowers the people there. And this mass, an empowered mass behind the heritage conservation topics, I think that's the most important issue from my
Okay, thank you very much, Uli. Yeah, unfortunately, the time is limited. Is the end of our session. So I would like to take a special time to make some resume for our friends here. Baik, Bapak, Ibu, teman-teman, sahabat pusaka semuanya, ini waktunya juga sudah lewat 2 menit. Saya minta sedikit waktu, Mbak Iren, ya, untuk sedikit menggarisbawahi dari diskusi 1 jam tadi ya. Ada banyak sekali hal-hal menarik yang kita bahas. Satu hal yang mungkin perlu kita sadari bersama adalah bahwa kolaborasi itu penting, ya. Jadi kita bicara tentang shared heritage, shared cultural responsibility itu akan bisa dicapai kalau kita ada kolaborasi, ya. Kolaborasi entah itu dari pemerintah, akademisi, mungkin juga dari swasta, lokal, masyarakat, ya, dari industri, media, dan lain sebagainya. Nah, kemudian ketika sudah ada kolaborasi, di situ peranan dari pemerintah atau pemimpin ya, dalam artian kalau sekarang kan mungkin pemerintah ya, leadership is important ya. Jadi kepemimpinan itu menjadi sangat penting karena ada banyak hal kebijakan-kebijakan yang tidak akan goal kalau tanpa didukung oleh pemerintah. Sehingga memang bagaimana kemudian kita bisa mendapatkan pemerintah yang punya leadership yang bagus, terutama pemerintah yang punya wawasan pelestarian, ya itu menjadi sangat penting ya. Kemudian terkait dengan regulasi juga penting, tapi lebih penting lagi adalah orang paham tentang regulasi tersebut dan bagaimana kemudian itu diimplementasikan ya. Jadi regulasi saja tidak akan pernah cukup ya, tapi kemudian bagaimana implementasinya dan partisipasi dari masyarakat dalam menjalankan regulasi itulah yang menjadi hal terpenting ya. Saya kira itu beberapa hal yang bisa saya garis bawahi pada bincang pusaka pada sesi ketiga siang hari ini. Mohon maaf sekali banyak atensi teman-teman di chat tadi, pertanyaan-pertanyaan bagus sekali yang belum bisa dibahas dalam sesi kali ini ya. Nanti mungkin bisa dilanjut diskusi di luar layar begitu ya. Terima kasih banyak atas atensi sahabat pusaka semuanya. Saya akan akhiri sesi ketiga kali ini. Mohon maaf apabila ada hal-hal yang kurang berkenan. Salam lestari. Selamat siang semuanya.